Her voice carried across the beach, loud enough for everyone to notice. I only asked him to apply sunscreen on my back. If you're jealous, leave. Then she laughed, genuinely laughed, and pivoted away from me, engaging him in conversation as though I had vanished, as though I were a ghost. Their laughter merged with the rhythm of the crashing waves. And in that instant, I understood something had silently perished long before we took this vacation. I didn't protest. I didn't cause a disturbance. I simply watched her, my wife, bantering with another man while her wedding ring sparkled in the sunlight, and I comprehended. That evening, I reserved the earliest flight back. No explanation, no farewell, only quiet. By dawn, my phone was buzzing incessantly like a failing heartbeat. Countless missed calls, texts, her name appearing repeatedly. I didn't respond. Not immediately. We first encountered each other 8 years ago at a rooftop lounge downtown. She wore a white dress, understated yet intentional, the type that erases your ability to speak. She possessed humor, refreshingly authentic, and intelligence of a rare caliber. In those days, I had faith in serendipity, in genuine connection. I had faith in her. She claimed she adored my composure, how nothing appeared to rattle me. Ironic, really, that same composure would ultimately destroy her perception of me later. The transformation was gradual, almost imperceptible. A different fragrance that remained long after her departure. Her phone perpetually positioned face down. Laughter emanating from another space that ceased the instant I appeared. Initially, I convinced myself I was being paranoid, that matrimony naturally evolves over time. But individuals don't conceal happiness. They conceal shame. The evidence arrived wrapped in her own negligence. A receipt from a hotel I had never visited. 2 wine glasses itemized on the bill. The reservation name matched the man from the shoreline. That moment marked when my racing pulse decelerated. I ceased experiencing pain. I began strategizing. Retribution isn't rooted in fury. It's centered on precision. And I possessed abundant time. She remained oblivious that I managed our complete financial portfolio, that her supposedly independent enterprise operated beneath my corporation structure. I had constructed her achievement. Every client, every agreement, all interconnected through my network, quietly, invisibly. So I permitted her to drift further away, allowed her to believe she was prevailing. Excursions with companions, extended meetings, secretive smiles directed at her screen. I smiled in return. I even assisted her packing once. She interpreted it as compassion. It was evidence collection. Every text message, every financial transaction, every document preserved, time-stamped, and prepared. I wasn't abandoning her. I was constructing the departure I had earned. When I ultimately departed that evening following the beach incident, I didn't merely leave her. I extracted everything bearing my name and everything legally connected to it. Before she reached out, the accounts had already been suspended. Her enterprise, technically mine, had been transferred to a rival. Discreetly. Her credit cards became inactive. Her professional email was disabled. By midday, she was financially immobilized. Her initial voicemail expressed anger. The second, bewilderment. By the 5th, she was weeping. Why would you inflict this upon me? I didn't respond. I wanted her to experience the silence she had once imposed on me. 7 days later, she appeared at my residence. Cosmetics smudged, voice quivering, a fragment of her former confidence. May we discuss this? She requested, barely audible. I permitted her entrance. She surveyed the space as though stepping into an unfamiliar dwelling. You laughed, I stated. Simply that, without further elaboration. I poured her water, positioned it on the surface. You told me if I felt jealous, I should depart. Her eyes wavered. The instant of realization, the burden of her own declaration crushing her spirit. It wasn't how it appeared, she attempted. It never is, I replied. Until the receipts, the correspondence, the reservations, they render it precisely what it appears to be. She became rigid. You examined my belongings. I examined our belongings, I clarified. You simply forgot they belonged to both of us. That was the moment comprehension dawned. Not merely the betrayal, but the calculated nature of my reaction. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't degrade her. I simply pushed a folder across the surface. Divorce documents already bearing my signature, with evidence enclosed. Asset distribution, financial tracing, complete documentation of her fiscal misconduct under my corporation's identity. I had ensured she would depart legally unblemished, but financially ruined. She stared at me, mouth agape, unable to form words. Why? She breathed. I reclined. Because you laughed. Silence. Profound. Conclusive. She attempted to reconstruct her life afterward. Relocated to a different city. I learned through shared acquaintances. She began serving at restaurants while attempting to restart. She contacted me once. A solitary voicemail I never erased, just a subdued voice stating, I didn't realize you possessed this coldness. She was mistaken. It wasn't coldness. It was resolution. Sometimes during late hours, I revisit that day at the shore. The sound of the surf, the glimpse of her smile as she inclined toward him, the resonance of her laughter. It no longer wounds me. It reminds me of who I evolved into after her, a man who discovered that silence constitutes the most penetrating weapon. I don't harbor hatred toward her. I express gratitude, because without her betrayal, I might never have comprehended the distinction between patience and fragility, between genuine love and fantasy, between a man who reacts impulsively and a man who orchestrates deliberately. And when my phone vibrates now, I don't startle. I simply allow it to ring, because certain echoes are most appropriately left unanswered.